Well, friends of Mundo Maldini, let's analyze what this overwhelming victory of Barca against Benfica has been. Barca is in the quarterfinals of the Champions League. I want to analyze many things about the match. I want to talk about some individual aspects of Barca, collective ones. Barca has crushed Benfica. It has been a display by Barca, especially in the first half, logically when the tie was still alive, because Barca made sure that Benfica had no chance quite early in this match, but Barca's performance has been tremendous, and I want to make several reflections, and I want to end this video with a question that I want you to answer in the comments as well. I will ask it at the end of the video, but certainly it seems to me that this Barca, right now, at the level I saw against Benfica, and then I want to talk about several things about Benfica, of course, which also in a way facilitated Barca's performance. But I think there is no team in Europe right now that plays at this level. I say it like this, and that doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean they are going to win the Champions League or La Liga or the Copa del Rey, the titles that Barca is still competing for. But I believe that at the level we saw in the first half of Barca today, there is honestly no team capable of doing it. And they have done it with several fundamental aspects. Barca has, I think that Benfica was saved from a tremendous thrashing. In the end, the result, well, Barca won comfortably, but it could have been a truly scandalous thrashing because the difference in play between Barcelona and Benfica was much greater than this final result, which, as I said, could have been much more scandalous. Several aspects to comment on, and then we'll delve individually into the display by Lamine Yamal, the great match once again by Pedri, and what Dani Olmo has done. It's true, and it must be said that Benfica has been a good team. They had a 0-1 against them, yet they were a brave team that went up to press, and that made Barca play with quite a lot of space, because there were several plays where they received between the lines. I mean, you can't leave so much space for Dani Olmo to receive between the lines. Then Barca has so much quality behind Dani Olmo, with Pedri, with Frenkie de Jong, with Balde, who also had a spectacular match, by the way. I don't want to miss commenting on the level Balde is at once again. On the other hand, we have the Spanish national team call-up, and let's see what happens with Balde, because he's at an incredible level once again, Balde. But of course, Benfica was pushing quite high today. What they did was try to press Barca's series at certain moments. Barca came out with the immense quality they have, and there they found a particularly free-moving Dani Olmo who turned and had a lot of space ahead. And from there, Barca crushes you. They crush you because they have a series of players up front against whom you can practically do nothing. It's very difficult at the level Barca played today, with high pressing, without the ball, in the opponent's build-up, pushing the defense forward a lot. And there's one important thing I want to highlight. Today, Pau Cubar wasn't there, as you well know. And Barca has continued playing the same way, because it's true that Pau Cubar is the leader when it comes to leading the defense, which is a reality that seems unbelievable given his age, but that's the reality. He is the leader in leading the defense, and now even without Pau Cubar, Barca has still pushed the defense very high with Araujo and Íñigo Martínez. Also pay attention to the Íñigo Martínez situation, as the national team is quite close. Let's see what happens next Friday, because there are injuries in the national team like Vivian, but we'll talk about all that later. But of course, Barca with a very advanced defense, always taking on that risk that Barca assumes. But of course, from there, Benfica has practically been unable to contain the entire offensive flow of Barca, which has been spectacular. Well, Pedri, tremendous once again. I will have to review the notes, of course, from this match. Pedri, tremendous once again. At the base of the midfield, sometimes even behind Frenkie de Jong, with an ability to generate a lot in the final third of the field, constantly generating a lot, even in ball distribution, and then the ability that Pedri is showing with his constant physical work, proving to be a player, well, of an extremely high level, not only technically, but also physically. I made a video where I talked about him being the best midfielder in the world, and for me, yes, I have to say it like that, he is the player who makes the most difference in different areas of the field. For me, he is, but, well, everyone will have their opinion. Benfica today has put in Florentino in the midfield, and he hasn't been able to do practically anything. And he has had practically no options. Well, Olmo, a key player at Barca, is proving himself, of course, as a key player. He has played a great match, and with the tie already decided, Flick has ended up taking him off, also taking off Lewandowski, thinking about it. Notice the difference between Barca and Benfica. We are in the Champions League round of 16, and Barca has been able to afford the luxury of resting many minutes. For Dani Olmo and Lewandowski, thinking about the match at the Metropolitano on Sunday in the league, which is also a very important match. as I said, an exhibition by Barca, especially in the first half. Then they dropped a bit in the second half. Olmo was exceptional. Pedri was exceptional. The hallmarks of this Barca, with the defense so high up, constantly taking that risk. And Benfica was thrashed. Barca made Benfica look like a much worse team than it really is. But that is the reality. When you play against a team of Barca's level, Benfica put Dal as a left back, being a left-footed player, in place of Alvaro Carreras, who couldn't play, instead of putting him on the right in attack as they did the other day in Lisbon. And it didn't work either, because they tried to stretch the field a bit more there. But there was such a footballing difference between the two teams that they hardly had any chance. And then we will finish by talking about Lamine Yamal, and then I'll ask you that question. Lamine Yamal, the first half by Lamine Yamal is legendary. The first half by Lamine Yamal is legendary. There are very few footballers in the world capable of playing at the level that Lamine Yamal played in the first half. I don't want to make a list of whether he's the 4th, 5th, or 6th best in the world, but certainly among the best in the world, among the top 6, 8, 10, at most best players in the world, Lamine Yamal is undoubtedly there. I have no doubt. I even think I might be overstating it. I would say among the top 5 or 6, with total certainty. As always, asking for the ball, he made several breakthroughs. Well, the cut he makes in the first goal, then it's true that I think he tries to shoot, and it turns into an assist for Raphinha, whom I also have to talk about, by the way. But then the second goal is truly a masterpiece. It's a ball that seems like it's going out. He grabs it before it goes out, end line, sideline, and from there he invents the goal all by himself. He goes inside and makes that left-footed shot impossible for Trubin. He's truly a genius, the Lamine Yamal. He's an unstoppable player. At these levels, he's completely unstoppable. The Lamine Yamal, it's hard to believe he's the age he is, but he's a footballer destined to define an era, I have no doubt. Raphinha very well, once again. Surely the best match we've seen from Raphinha recently. He was frankly good, even better than the day in Lisbon, because Lisbon was a team that had to defend much more. And I say that Barca was excellent. Then we also had minutes in the final stretch, the end, for Casado, for Fermin. In short, Barca was able to rest players for that match against Atletico de Madrid. I want to finish. By the way, when Lamine left, I don't want to fail to mention it, the stadium was buzzing, because it's logical. In the second half, he slowed down a bit more, although there were also several magnificent plays. But what he did in the first half was legendary. One of the great individual performances by a footballer all season. Lamine Yamal in the first half today against Benfica. I end by talking about Raphinha. Speaking of Raphinha, well, a very good match from Raphinha, who also scored, and I think he played the best match we've seen from the Brazilian in recent times. And Barca played a perfect match. They played a magnificent game. And the question I want to ask you, after this qualification of Barca for the quarterfinals, is it the big favorite to win the Champions League? Well, right now it can't be answered. Let's see what happens tomorrow in the Atletico de Madrid-Real Madrid match, and what happens with the Liverpool-Paris Saint-Germain game, which will be played shortly. There are many that I will comment on Movistar, by the way. You already know that tomorrow I will be at the Metropolitano to comment on that Atletico de Madrid-Real Madrid match. You will have videos from the stadium. But certainly, I don't know if we have to see what happens in the rest of the matches, who the 8 quarterfinalists are. Quarterfinalists. But I have the feeling that at the level Barca played in the first half today, maybe there isn't any team capable of doing it. It's also true that there will be other teams that will play much further back and won't give the spaces that Benfica did. But today, Barca, friends of Mundo Maldini, gave a true exhibition, a true recital. And of course, it is one of the main contenders to win this Champions League. I believe no one can have any doubt about that anymore. Tomorrow from the Metropolitano, Atletico versus Real Madrid. You will have videos from the stadium, of course. Tomorrow you will also have a very special video that you will like, a preview of that Madrid derby. And also, as soon as the Liverpool-Paris Saint-Germain match ends, which I will be commenting on Movistar shortly, you will also have a detailed analysis of what happened in that Liverpool-Paris Saint-Germain match. The Champions League, friends of Mundo Maldini. Barcelona's exhibition, a hug, champions.